Hi, I'm Robert Osborne. We're in the midst of this month's visit with our TCM guest programmer, Gilbert Gottfried. He's a comedian with one of the most recognizable voices in show business. Welcome again, Gilbert.
Yes, and tonight I'll be presenting Ernie Goes to Camp 3.
A great movie, a great movie. So glad you picked it, yes. Now, the next movie Gilbert has actually chosen for us is a actually grim and quite emotional drama from Columbia Pictures in 1968, starring Burt Lancaster and called The Swimmer. Now, this is really an unusual choice for you, from my standpoint. Why did you pick it?
This was a movie I was just watching TV late at night years ago. And it's one of those, like, treats that you get. Like, this, I never heard of this before then. And it's one of those weird movies, those little movies that they used to make late 60s through the 70s that it seems like they forgot how to make nowadays.
Right.
And it would never make it to a theater nowadays.
Right.
It's based on a John Cheever story. And I never read the story. I'm just showing off by telling you who wrote it. And then it was adopted by Frank and Eleanor Perry for the screen. And it's about the American dream, basically, one of those movies. And Burt Lancaster plays a guy who just appears all of a sudden, and then he's looking, and he realizes that every one of his friends has a swimming pool. And he thinks that he can swim. It forms a river, all these pools, and he can literally swim home using all these pools, which already, that had me hooked.
So unusual and so well done.
Yeah, and it was a great score by Marvin Hamlish, who was like 24 at the time.
Right.
And I think this was his first movie score.
Yeah. And you're right. Nobody would ever make this movie today. They'd never get a green light on it at all.
Yeah, and if they made a movie like this nowadays, you'd look at it and it would be so self-consciously strange and hip. You know, now they feel like, oh, well, hey, we're in on the weirdness of it.
Now, I know there were a lot of other actors that were offered this project along the line by the Perrys. I think William Holden was one. There were several others. But I think Burt Lancaster is like the perfect guy for this movie. He seemed to fit it so well.
It's funny, because a lot of critics criticized him. They thought he was too virile for the part and too handsome and too much of a leading man. I thought he was great in the part.
I did too. Yeah.
And they said there were one critic said, you know, George C. Scott would have been better, but you'd rather look at Burt Lancaster in swim trunks.
Yes, exactly.
Scott.
Well, he's so physical. He kind of fits that part. Yeah, well, let's have a look. You set it up very well. Here it is with the cast that also includes Janice Rule, Marge Champion, and Kim Hunter. Directed indeed by Frank Perry from 1968, The Swimmer. What a movie. What a great performance by Burt Lancaster. And I'm back with the man who selected this movie for us, comedian Gilbert Gottfried. Do you have a favorite moment in this film?
It has so many.
Yeah.
It's just like one of those movies that's hypnotic. And it's funny, Joan Rivers pops up in it, and the whole movie amazes me. And that it's also, I heard like Frank Perry and Burt Lancaster had a falling out.
The director and the star.
Yeah, Frank Perry was the director. They had a falling out.
Right.
And Frank Perry walked out on the movie. And then they had Sidney Pollack and a few other directors. And usually that's a sign of a disaster.
Yeah.
But this film came out great.
Yeah. So do you think, I mean, it would be interesting to know how it would have come out if Frank Perry had stayed on the movie?
Yeah, it's always a wonder like that. Of course, this is another thing I've noticed with discussing film, is that if you say, well, the director had this vision and the studio didn't want it, everyone's immediate, like, knee-jerk reaction is, oh, the director's version was so much greater.
Yeah.
And maybe it wasn't.
Not always true.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Like, if you hear, like, oh, in Citizen Kane, he wanted everyone on roller skates, and that would have been so brilliant.
Yeah.
But the studio didn't.
Yeah. So we're going to move on right now. Up next, Gilbert's third movie pick of the night. It's another unusual film, this one from 1932, and directed by Todd Browning, about some sideshow performers in a circus troupe.
Tonight on Turner Classic Movies, guest programmer Gilbert Gottfried goes under the big top with freaks. Then Gene Hackman finds that paranoia will destroy ya in the conversation, and a hedonistic photographer snaps a possible murder in Blow Up.